Hello. Today we have William Fox here with us, the creator and star of the serialized webcomic Samurai Senshi. William, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Appreciate it.
First, let me ask you, for many of our viewers who haven't seen Samurai Senshi, what exactly is Samurai Senshi about?
Samurai Senshi is about a young boy who has his father killed right in front of him. And what happens through his life, he learns that revenge isn't the key and it isn't the answer to life. He spends his whole young adult life trying to avenge his father's death. And then he gets just a bomb dropped on him. Something happens in his life. I can't really give too much away.
Oh, I understand.
But something happens in his life, and it just makes him totally distraught. And it's a major twist. It's, like I said, I can't give too much away, but it's a major twist in his life that nobody really expected. So basically, let me reiterate, it's about a boy who has his father killed, and he seeks vengeance for his father, for his father's death.
Alright. And now, Samurai Senshi, so far on your website, is more of an audio stream than it is an actual anime or a comic or anything. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I really would like to give the fans something to go off of before we put it in full production. So I'm releasing these episodes, or webisodes if you like, so that it gives a point of reference.
All right. And because I've actually seen or heard the actual Samurai Senshi episodes, it's already in its first season. It's already done with its first season.
Yeah.
And so are you planning to do more seasons? I mean, I've already seen a preview for the second season, but what can viewers kind of expect for the second season? But keep in mind, people who haven't seen it for the first season kind of don't put too much in there. Yeah. Let them kind of find out on the website what it's about and find out more details on the first season. But for the second season, what are you kind of looking to do and kind of explore with Senshi's life and his explorations?
I guess season 2 is more for the character development and for the fans to know a little bit of the background for the characters. That's pretty much the generalization I can put the category, put it in that category, because without giving too much away, it's more just much of a character development season. And we're actually planning on doing more seasons, but we're just going to see how this season goes, and then maybe possibly the next season, and then see if we can put it into full production, start the full season, start fleshing it out and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the intention so far. So, and go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask, can you kind of give us a little backdrop on some of the characters involved? Because there's numerous characters. I mean, once again, listening to season 1 and having actually reviewed the entire season, there's got to be at least 5, 6, 7 characters involved. Yeah. And some of the voice acting sounds very similar to them. So there was a particular point, I think, especially in episode 7 or 8, where it was a little confusing to figure out who it was until the actual character started talking. I think there was maybe an octave or 2 higher or lower between the characters. Yeah. So if you could give us kind of a summary of the different characters, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the character roles go, it actually just started as me voicing the whole cast. So it was similar sounding, because you can't really get away from the twinges in voice. Mm-hmm. Once you know a voice actor's voice, if they do another series or something like that, you'll know them right off the bat. Just like Vic Mignogna, he actually emailed him the other day and asked him a couple of questions, but he loves the episode. That's just a side note there, though. I basically had nobody on the cast and nobody on the team, so I just did everything by myself. Oh, okay. So I was the art director, everything. So
you're the main man of the whole show there.
Yeah, I was the dude. And then I picked up one of my really good friends, Bryn Orr. Bryn Orr, you're watching. I know you will because you know Mission Star podcast. But he's actually the one that got me turned on to you guys. And so Bryn Orr, he's the guy that really helped me along with it. And then Madison Martins, we all call her Maddie. She's a spunky little girl. We all love her. She's the cute, adorable one of the of the cast, and that's nothing to Lee, her boyfriend, but but of course she's the spunky one. And I had met her at SAC Anime, and I was cosplaying as Ichigo Kurosaki, and she's like, hey, you know, I looked at your personal profile and I realized that you're a voice actor. Are you doing anything cool? I said, actually, I have something for you if you like. So I hired her on as a permanent voice actor or actress, which way you want to put it. So I hired her on as a voice actor as well as Bryn. I had actually met Bryn at my work over here in Diamond Springs. It's Northern California, Diamond Springs. And I met him at my work and I said, what are you doing? He's like, I'm not doing anything. I said, well, I have something for you, because me and him used to act together. I used to be in a drama club, and we were sort of rivals, so we didn't really necessarily act together. We just worked in two different schools. Yep. So we were sort of against each other, but not really. It wasn't really a rival school kind of thing. So, but as far as the character development goes, it was more Julia. She was later on. Her name's Dio. She goes by Dio. She started giving me some really good, wholesome ideas of where it could go, stuff like that. So as far as characters go, I developed them with her, Bryn, and Maddie, and that was sort of the cast for a real long time, for about 4 to 5 months. So that's where it really got started, and that's where all the good stuff came from. So
then, can you give our viewers here just kind of match the character to the voice actor so that they know who's playing who? I mean, granted, you guys can go to the website and check it out, yes. But for those of you who would kind of like a little lowdown on who's who, can you kind of just give them a little synopsis on that? Yeah,
see, I voice the gentleman from the first, or actually the second episode, Senshi's father, from the first episode, and then of course Senshi, and then Bryn Orr actually does Buku from the Misa-san brothers, the Three Ninjas, and that's just sort of a kind of a spoiler alert there, guys. So I mean, if you guys listen to the whole thing, then you realize what the Misa-san brothers is, but he actually does Buku and Orochi. Orochi plays a serious key role in Senshi's life. But Maddie is also, she does Katsumi and Aika. The very elegant Senshi's she's Senshi's other half, and then I can't give too much away, but it's Aika.
Definitely.
Aika and Katsumi. So, and then there's a gentleman, real talented voice actor. His name's Mike Guthrie. He plays the voice of Haku, another key role in Senshi's life. Let's see, Lee Graham. He plays a role that I can't give away, but he's one of the voice actors, still very talented. Everybody that's on the cast, I casted really well. Just inherently, you know. I never knew that I had some sort of director role or any sort of director ability until I really started this endeavor. And once I started doing it, I was like, wow, you know, I've been getting good reviews on my directability, and so I'm just going to keep doing it. But sort of chasing rabbits again. Sorry.
That's all right.
But so there's Robbie Pleasant. He does the comical role of Ichiro.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, everybody loves Ichiro. He's totally infatuated with Aika. Of course, tune in and you'll find out what it really is. Once we start getting more fans, I think that it's going to be a little more easy to do better, like sort of release better information and stuff. But this sort of is a new thing, so I can't give too much away.
I understand. Yeah. I'm sure our viewers understand as well.
Yeah.
Once again, if you guys want to see it, check out the website at the very end of this show. I'll give you guys the website and show you exactly where you can tune in. So moving on real quickly, what made you want to create Samurai Senshi, and what led to the development of Samurai Senshi, and it being a huge webisode thing?
Well, before we started this interview, I was telling you that it's really I get the only word I can find for it is ethereal. That it's like you mold something with it's a ball of clay and it gets up and starts walking and doing its own thing. Mm-hmm. It's the closest relation to it is sorry if I'm getting away from that question, but
no, it's all right.
It's like having your own child,
Mm-hmm.
So, but the question is slipping my mind. So if you can.
Well, okay. So basically, I just wanted to know what led to the creation of it, and what made you really want to make Samurai Senshi itself. Like, what led to your development of it?
The only really thing I can say is fans. They were giving us such great reviews that it's like we have to continue this. We were thinking about a couple of other ideas. Julia Dio, excuse me, she had a really good idea. She still has it. She's still writing on it, and so she's still sort of doing her own thing. But since we've done every single episode and getting like deeper into Senshi's life and getting deeper into every single one of the characters, it's like, man, we can't even stop this now. It's got out of our hands, and also the publicity role that it's playing. It's like okay, let's let it do its own thing now. Let's if we make mistakes, we dust ourselves off and try again, and then just keep going down that same road. It's just fans are basically number one to us. Mm-hmm. So we do everything for our fans. There's some pretty hardcore fans out there that just absolutely adore Samurai Senshi and the Senshi role and everything like that. But it's basically number one and key role is just fans.
Yeah. So what made you want to go to the samurai type of genre as opposed to anything else, rather than like a monster or horror genre, or I don't know, like let's say an alien genre or a robotic genre or something like that? What made you want to really dive into the old kind of 16th century samurai era as opposed to any other type of genre, like I was saying before?
Yeah. Just because a lot of Americans are otakus, mm-hmm. A lot of Americans that are actually into anime, they really divulge themselves into the characters and the character roles and stuff. But I took it a step further. I fell in love with the culture ever since I was, say, 12 years old. I said, wow, this is just so amazing. I mean, mm-hmm. I fell in love with the culture. So I started doing studies ever since I was 13 years old. At 12 years old, I fell in love with it, and at 13 years old, I set myself apart and said, look, I'm going to study the Japanese culture, teach myself some of the language, and see if I can say hello and how are you and I'm sorry and goodbye and stuff like that. I got a cake. So mm-hmm. I got my cake. So I divulged and then learned about the samurais, and I watched a really, really great movie, and I know you'll know this, is The Last Samurai.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. I think most people know The Last Samurai. It's a very epic movie, a fantastic movie. It was up for numerous Academy Awards. I think it actually won 2 or 3 of them.
I think 3, yeah.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Tom Cruise played his role perfectly, and I sucked what I could from that, and applied it to my own life, and then there came Senshi. And I've always just been in love with the samurai tales. I've watched Samurai Senshi, or not that, but Samurai 7, Samurai Champloo.
Good one, good one.
All good ones. Any samurai tale it just gets back to the Japanese roots that like nothing else can. So as far as an otaku goes, it just, there's nothing better than that you can learn about the culture. And some of the names from the series are actually from real life Japanese culture and mm-hmm. from the samurai culture. The Bushido way is from Japanese culture, and there's a lot of depth to Samurai Senshi. If you really like study it and listen to it, there's a lot of depth to it.
No, definitely. I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, you were on a panel at SAC Anime. I don't know if all of our viewers understand that or even know about that. SAC Anime was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I believe it was September 2nd through the 4th. Now, can you give us kind of an idea of what happened during the panel? Because I'm sure those of you guys who have missed it are probably a little interested on what happened, what kind of followed through it, what you kind of talked about. I mean, we're kind of conversating right now about probably mostly what you've already talked about, but for those of us who haven't been to that panel, what have you talked about there that you maybe are missing right now that maybe some of our viewers would like to hear?
Well, just what's upcoming for Samurai Senshi. So this is just a little bit of a plug-in here for you guys. So Samurai Senshi, like, what happened is we went to the panel, and this is just kind of a funny moment. We actually sat in the big room, the main panel event room, and we sat up there, and then one person muttered, "It's like, oh, now my life is complete." And we're like, "Wow, we really mean something to these people. Hey, you know, hey, you're awesome, kid, you know." And we all sat down, and we're all getting ready, and then the guy underneath the director, Jordan, not Jordan, but the guy underneath him, he's like, "Who are you guys?" We're like, "Oh, we're the Samurai Senshi panel." And he said, "Oh, you're in the next room." There was probably 15 people there already.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, "Oh man, okay." And then Bryn brought it to my attention that he's like, "Oh, this makes sense," because we walked in the room and there's only 2 people there. And he was just laughing. He's like, "Well, this makes total sense because, I mean, nobody has really ever heard of it." And they're like, "Oh, you know, don't catch yourself too short." But from then on, we just had a great time at the panel. We premiered one of the episodes in season 2, and it gave the whole spectrum of what had happened and what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it was with the heartbeat, you know, so it gave the whole spectrum of what happened and what will happen. So we premiered that, and then we put on our, actually I can give you the file, you can edit that out if you like, but we premiered the HD promo trailer.
Okay.
So we did that, and then while the episode was going, there's something really cool happened. One of the fans that had come to every single one of our panels since, since we started this thing, she mouthed every single word of the episode, and Bryn, he actually looked down at her and he realized that she was mouthing all the words, and we noticed that she had earphones in, but she wasn't listening to anything.
Yeah.
Man, it was a big moral boost because we had never experienced somebody doing that for us. So in studying our episodes so much that you'd know every word, I mean, it was impressive. So a little shout out to Sasha. That's her name, Sasha. And then my shirt that I was wearing at the panel, I had a custom made for me through Julia's father, Dio's father. I keep saying that. Sorry, Julia, Dio. Through Dio's father, his friend made the shirt for me, and it said, you know, it had the Samurai Senshi logo, and then on the back said William Fox, director. And I actually took the shirt off for her, and we all signed it for her, and we gave her the shirt, and she loved it. So that was more the high point of the panel. So I think that's all that had happened there. I can't say what's going to happen in the next episode if people haven't tuned into it yet. But,
no, I understand.
But as far as what's going to happen, just really, the only thing I could really say is once you've divulged into Samurai Senshi and listen to all the episodes, you're not going to be able to contain yourself and wait for the next one because it's like, man, this is so great. And somebody had asked me during the panel, I said, well, what do you think is your key aspect to Samurai Senshi? I said, well, first off is the voices. The voices mean everything to us, mean everything to the fans. The second would have to be the music. Music sets the tone, sets the period, sets everything for listening to it because you can't really visualize it. It gets you in the mood of listening to it. And you can listen to it while browsing or anything like that, so it leaves you a little free. But they asked me that, and I said, well, and I think most importantly would be have to be the music too.
Yeah, actually, you do have some good music on Samurai Senshi. I liked episode 7 specifically. I'm not gonna kind of give anything away, but there's like a little kind of emotional moment between two of the main characters.
Yeah.
And then the music kind of just flows perfectly with that moment as it kind of goes off as an ending theme.
Yeah.
What made you want to bring that aspect specifically with the music in there? Because it's not like in Samurai Senshi, it's not like a regular anime or manga or serialized webisode or anything where it has a typical beginning and ending theme.
Yeah.
The ending theme kind of goes and relates to whatever is happening in the actual episode. So what made you want to do that as opposed to having just a generalized theme?
Well, we just wanted to set ourselves apart, really. It was more like I've done trailers and stuff like that. So, I've voiced trailers, I've edited trailers, just for personal stuff. Like, and then I got on with a gentleman named Richard Kitchen. If he's watching this, hello, you're the best person ever happened in my life. But Richard Kitchen is a total to the heart kind of guy. I did wedding videos for him.
Oh, really?
I edited them all out. And we put the music to it, and people just sobbed and just cried all the time. So that natural talent I took from that and put it into Samurai Senshi and just set the mood totally for it. So that's why I wanted to do that, is because it was, and we wanted to do it. We all talked about it, and we just wanted to really set ourselves apart from everybody else. I mean, because it seems like nowadays that anime is just sort of getting into the, hi, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. Somebody died, and it's the end. Tune in next episode.
Yeah.
So it's very, like you're saying, beginning, plot, and climax, and that kind of thing. So we wanted to keep listeners engaged through that. So yeah.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of, and this is a stretch, so forgive me for making such a stretch, but Gintama in a little bit, because Gintama, they don't follow the whole beginning, middle, end of the anime. They kind of will do something zany and off the wall, and then, put a theme song where it doesn't belong or something. And on the aspect of kind of flowing where things wouldn't normally flow into, I like the fact that you guys have a theme song at the end that maybe isn't the actual official theme song of the anime, but it's a theme song that goes with the flow of the feeling of that episode and goes with that particular episode itself, whatever is happening with the characters and the character development. And I particularly like that about your anime.
Yeah.
Or about your webisode. So one of the other things I wanted to ask you about is, I know that Samurai Senshi is a webisode that's mostly audio. Do you have any intention of making Samurai Senshi an actual anime or a manga or a movie or anything of that nature?
People have asked me a lot about making a live-action movie. We've talked about it. We've talked about maybe getting some actors and staff together, but I think the original format which we decided on was a motion manga.
Okay.
Basically an action comic, sort of like Spider-Woman. Let's see, what other comics was there? There's the X-Men one, just stuff like that, but basically in Japanese form.
Okay.
So Americanized in Japanese form.
So then you'd have American actors and stuff, just in a Japanese way, just
right.
a Japanese. I don't know how you describe it, a Japanese kind of shot.
Yeah.
Japanese video.
Right, directing,
yeah.
videography, yeah, all that stuff, yeah.
There you go, videography. All right. So when can we expect this, like this motion manga from Samurai Senshi? Because I'm sure a lot of the viewers who are watching us and who have heard of Samurai Senshi, and even people who aren't, who are interested and who will eventually go to the site, will probably want to hear it, because one of the things that I was interested in when I was listening to Samurai Senshi, there was a particular battle scene where you hear a bunch of swords clash and clang against each other for a while. In my head, I really wanted to see that as like a live motion picture or like a live anime or something. Even as a manga, you can really kind of more picture it in your head, whereas in the audio it's really kind of harder to do so.
Yeah.
Especially just hearing swords clash and you don't know who's standing on what ground and who's doing what to whom.
Right.
So what do you really want to do with that and kind of make it more live action so that people can actually see and visualize the fighting aspect of Samurai Senshi?
Well, we have decided, on the promotional trailer it says coming this fall, but we decided to push it back just another few months because we can only do so much as a low budget entity. So it's basically, it kind of falls on me for the financial responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of have to work through numbers to try to do stuff and pay in the end for people that try to do stuff. But so we pushed it back, and what we'd like to do is, what we'd like to do, I heard something. What we'd like to do is we'd really love to do next fall at the latest. So not this fall, this October, September, but we'd like to do next fall at the latest. But we just want to get at least like the first episode out and try to just put it into full production and focus on that, flush it out a little bit, and really just focus on number one and then just keep doing it each time. So basically, I would really love for it to be that visual aid and actual finished product for episode 1.
Mm-hmm. So when you do actually try to create like some sort of motion capture or motion video for Samurai Senshi, are you going to have longer episodes? Because I noticed most of the episodes online are anywhere between 3 minutes to 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
When it goes to the actual, either live action or anime or whatever, is that going to be a longer episode so that people can kind of sit down and watch the full episode and kind of get a feel of how this particular plot in that episode kind of comes together? Or are you just going to keep it to the same 3 to 5 minute shots? Because I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing to keep it to 3 to 5 minute shots. If you've seen, there's been like a bunch of different shorts, like Batman. There's a Batman series out there. I want to say it's not Arkham Asylum, but it's something where they have a bunch of 5 to 10 minute shorts of Batman, and it's like a really trippy version of it. I don't really remember offhand what it's called,
I think
but.
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to keep it just the 5 to 10 minutes long, the shorts, or do you want to create full-on episodes for Samurai Senshi?
Well, we would love to create a full-on episode. Basically, what just a little bit of the history in the making. We had decided that 3 minutes would keep the listener. It's like, okay, well, maybe I can move on to the next one. And then we did it about 4 minutes to the next one, and then 5 minutes, and so it began a gradual, like a cumulative addition to the episodes, people can stay engaged longer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, now that I'm really interested in this, I can listen to it for the next 15 minutes for the episode. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to fill all that time and space in as, say, like a 15-minute episode. It'll sort of be the pilot. Mm-hmm. So it'll be like, this is just what happened, and then so it'll be like, oh man, I should watch the next one, So it's a real creative approach to getting people engaged.
Okay.
So we're going to do a lot of creative shots and a lot of really cool stuff to make it fill out to 15 minutes. But we're going to try to make the actual episodes, the original timescale of 27 minutes. Okay. So if we really wanted to launch it on a network or something like that, they can put in the commercials where they need to and all that stuff. So
what exactly has your favorite anime been Because I know you've created Samurai Senshi, and this is kind of going as a webisode, hopefully going into an anime and expanding into whatnot. But what has kind of inspired you? Like, what kind of anime or manga or whatever has inspired you to really kind of not only create Samurai Senshi, but to be involved in the anime scene in general?
Well, if anybody is as old as I am, I'm 26 years old. All the listeners out there that are my age remember Toonami.
Yeah.
On the Cartoon Network, it was like after school you sit down, you're going to watch some Toonami.
I think Toonami's still going, actually.
That's just amazing. That's really cool that it's doing that still. That's what really got me just falling in love with the whole anime scene. And then my brother's fiance at the time, which is now his wife, married 10 years almost, excuse me, turned me on to this really cool movie called Princess Mononoke. Anybody who knows anything about Japanese culture knows that Miyazaki is the man. He's the Disney of Japanese culture. So, and it's really, I watched that movie and I was like, man, that is so amazing, and it's just an epic tale of two people that fall in love and that is separated between two worlds, and it's just so cool. And I wanted to make my series just as epic, and it just a lot of really cool stuff had happened in my life to bring me to this moment. Mm-hmm. So this moment in time of how I created Samurai Senshi, and just everything that has come forth in my life, it's all come down to this point.
I gotcha.
Just actually, the other day I was invited to Funimation to audition for Panty and Stocking. It's kind of on the lowdown, everybody, so don't... I've got the email, I can show it to you. But
alright, definitely.
But yeah, so Funimation, if you're watching, I'm sorry I released that information, but yeah, but at least my name's on the list now and I can audition for something else. So, but that's just kind of chasing rabbits again. But it's just a little bit about me. Everything that I've done in voice acting, just absolutely everything, has just been such a breeze for me. Everything else, drumming, playing guitar, playing violin, it's all been and art, it's all been somewhat of a struggle for me, and I had to really practice at it. This came as like an absolute natural talent to me. So, Samurai as far as me playing Samurai Senshi, he's just a very drawn back character. He's very withdrawn, and he's very sort of upstanding. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not going to engage into this debauchery. You know, it's just I'm very dignified. But as far as like other roles go, I've done abrasive roles. I've done Kane Highwind. I've done these are all fan dubs, but Kane Highwind, Snow, Villiers, whatever you want to say it. I've done 4 other roles for local people that you just asked me to do stuff for them. I've done some voice messages. I did a couple things for KGYN radio, but it's all been such a total breeze for me.
I gotcha.
So, yeah.
So can our fans expect to see you at any other anime cons if they want to kind of see you or see a Samurai Senshi panel, or maybe kind of talk with the other voice actors or anyone else who's involved in the actual project? Yeah,
usually I'll post on our secret group on Facebook who wants to join in on the panel, and usually it's basically the same amount of people every time, because between cons it's like Northern and Central California, so we kind of can do both things.
Okay.
So as far as us all going to LA, it'll be like sort of, all right, I'll pick you up, and then we're going to cruise on down to LA, that kind of thing. Next year, we're starting our California-wide tour for Samurai Senshi. We're planning it all out, and stop 1 is SAC Anime in January.
Oh, awesome.
So people can expect the team.
SAC Anime, remember, that's Sacramento. So if you want to see them, you got to go to Sacramento first.
SAC Anime, yes.
SAC Anime specifically.
Yeah. So that's going to be stop number 1 for our Northern Southern California trip. It's going to end at SAC Anime again in September of next year. But we're going to do as far as SAC Anime all the way down to Fanime Anime Expo. all of it.
So all the big ones you're going to be hitting, every single big one you're going to be hitting. SAC Anime, Fanime, SAC Exp, or
SACCon.
SACCon.
Yeah.
Oh, so you are going to be hitting SACCon.
Yeah.
You're going to be going to the Scottish Rite Centre down in
Yep.
SACCon.
We'll be there.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah. So, so as far as this next SACCon, we probably won't make it. But next year, it's all going to be just a straight push all the way through. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's going to be really amazing to find other people that have heard our series and and tell people to tune in and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's fantastic. I appreciate you coming on the show and talking with me and letting my fans and your fans know what's happening with the Samurai Senshi series as well as what's happening with you. Thank you once again, William Fox, everyone. And thank you for watching this episode of The Relentless Review. I'll see you later.